What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? It is now officially 2021 when it comes to the chart, because 4 o'clock California time is when the market closes, and then we move on to the next day. So we finally closed for 2020 on a yearly candle at around $29,000, our all-time high. Look how strong that candle is, guys. That's a beautiful candle. Yep, we're definitely on schedule, and let's talk about it. Okay, look. So yeah, we closed way above the all-time high. See, the problem with this chart is a lot of people look at this chart and they think that we're overextended. They think that this can't be sustainable. This is just not textbook charting, textbook technical analysis, right? A lot of people they trade stocks, forex, commodities, and they just can't seem to understand how something like this can keep going. But the problem is they're not looking at the right metric. They have to turn on a logarithmic function down here in order to see the chart from a fairly non-objective bias, because when you turn on a log function, you give each individual year, each individual candle an equal distribution of weight. So there's no emphasis on just the most previous years in price action. That's what a log chart does. The log put everything in perspective, fair and square. And if you look, this is what it looks like. So what do you think? Huh? See, this is where the previous all-time high was, like around $1,000, I think, right here. And yeah, so then we flew past that to $20,000. And so, as you can see, when you look at it like this, we're not so crazy now, right? There's still a lot more room to go. But we're going to go ahead and focus on the VLX chart, which is the longest lasting chart that Bitcoin has. It goes all the way back to 2009. So let's look at this chart and let's see what's going on here. So as you all know, guys, the vertical line, that's the halving. That's the mechanism that's embedded in the code of Bitcoin, in the protocol that automatically cuts the supply in half every 4 years. So every 4 years, Bitcoin becomes twice as scarce, which of course will increase the stock to flow model to infinity. As of right now, Bitcoin is already more scarce than gold, and as time goes by, it's going to continue to even only get more scarce, and the supply is just going to continue to have more restriction on it, and demand is going to ramp up, of course, because of that. So this is the monthly chart on the VLX logarithmic function. Let's put on a yearly chart. I wanted to talk about this. If you guys look on the yearly chart, every single year that we had the halving occurring has been like this one is 2012. We had this halving, and of course we had a green candle, and the next year is when the bull market officially gets going, right? And we got a huge green candle here. This candle in particular, the low of the candle was around $13. The high of the candle was around $817. Okay, guys. And the second halving, which is right here, which is 2016, okay, green candle, that's the start. The year the halving is always the start. And then the next year after that, that's when the Bitcoin bull market goes in full ramp, full rage on mode, right? Bam, we get a huge green candle. The low was at $889 and the high was around $20,000 or so. Now, let's look at this year, 2020. We got the halving event taking place here, and look at this candle. Look what's different between this candle and these two previous candles on the last two halvings. We're ahead of schedule. We're ahead of schedule. And you know why? Because I do truly believe that Bitcoin is basically moving on to the next paradigm shift. And this is what Plan B was talking about in his stock to flow model, where Bitcoin goes through phases, kind of like, gas, kind of like water goes through these phases of gas and then becomes liquid and it becomes solid. And he has a really good explanation of that. But this is basically what he calls phase 5, where Bitcoin becomes adopted by private companies, public companies, and then eventually nation states, sovereign states, central banks, and then that's when it becomes global reserve currency, right? So if you look at it like that, it makes sense, because 2020 was the first year that we have hedge fund managers, well-respected, well-known people on Wall Street that has a lot of reputation on the line, coming out, putting their reputation on the line just to say that they believe that Bitcoin is digital gold and that we are in a paradigm shift, and the world is going to head towards the direction of digital money, and Bitcoin is the best example that we have of that, especially throughout history. In 12 years, never been hacked, never been compromised, never been stopped, never been censored. It's doing what it's exactly what it's supposed to do. And that's what Bitcoin is great at. It's the best at being the most superior form of money ever created. So honestly, my previous target for 2021 was a minimum of $100,000. If you look at this box that I drew here, if you look at the coordinates, it's $100,000 with the low. It's the low line here, and the high line is $400,000. So that's where I think price gonna be between that range. But honestly, guys, if you look at this chart, okay, look how easy it is for us to hit $100,000. We're already here. We're already here, guys. Look at all these green candles in the past. And keep in mind, with these previous cycles, we did not have quantitative easing, the Federal Reserve, central banks all around the world printing money. This entire run up here has been nothing but, let's just call it peaceful time, right? Peaceful time in the economy, where the market, we have been in a bull market this entire time. In the global market, at least, right? In the traditional market. This is the first time that we are entering into a Bitcoin bull market when the world is literally going to shit. Governments all around the world just printing money left and right. United States printed $5 trillion this year. 25% of all USD supply was made this year. Think about that. Think about the effect of that. Think about the chain reaction, the domino effect that's going to happen because of that. That's inflation. That's hyperinflation. That's destroying people's purchasing power. And when the dollar gets weakened, Bitcoin gets stronger. That's just how it works. And so I do believe, if you look at where we are now to $100,000, I believe that's too low of a target. I believe that's too conservative. I think we might hit at least $150,000, if not $200,000. And there could be a potential of us blasting right to $500,000. We've never had big Wall Street money, hedge fund money, mass mutual, insurance funds, and banks all around the world buying Bitcoin like we do in 2020. Never before. It's a new paradigm shift. It's a new uncharted territory. And I honestly, it's going to be mind-blowing to watch. And whoever's on the sideline, they're going to be very sorry that they never got in. And that's why I urge you guys to please do some research, learn about it, figure out why why is it that everybody's talking about Bitcoin? Why is all the big players in the world are starting to talk about Bitcoin? Billionaires, Paul Tudor Jones, BlackRock, Larry Fink, Rick Rieder, Guggenheim, Stanley Druckenmiller, Bill Miller, Michael Saylor, all the giants in the world. Why are they talking about Bitcoin, guys? Please, just do your research. That's all I ask. 2021 is going to be a phenomenal year for Bitcoin. It's going to change my life. It's going to change a lot of people's life. And, I think that, I think eventually this is something that everybody will have to participate in because it's money. It's universal. It's not like a Tesla stock. It's not something you can just ignore. You will have to buy into this sooner or later. So I recommend that you do your research now, do your due diligence now, figure it out now, because once it gets to a certain price level and then you're forced to buy in because it's the global reserve currency, there won't be much rewards and returns left. So stay safe out there, guys.